Hey everybody, welcome to the Fount Jackie Show. I'm happy to have you here at my podcast and I appreciate you taking the time to listen. We were calling it the Happy Jack podcast, but I really just love talking about business so much that it's sort of become the topic that we're covering most often. So I am going to switch gears and call it the Fount Jackie Show and put a more of an entrepreneurial bend on the topics. So jumping in tonight, the topic that I'm covering, I'm pretty excited about this because we're about to hit our 10-year anniversary. And the topic I'm covering is if I had to start Fount over from scratch tomorrow with my husband, what would we do differently? And try to get on a faster track to grow to where we are today. Like the things that topic blew my mind because I have been seeing it a little bit on Instagram where people are saying, if I had to start over tomorrow, what would I do? And they're listing 3 things. And I couldn't narrow it down to less than 9. And I probably could think of like 20 or 30 more. So I'm going to share those with you tonight. If you have your own business or you're just interested in the topic, it's pretty cool to hear this. And I would love to actually hear this from other businesses as well. Coco, you want to say hi? She's looking at me right now. So I'm just going to let her say hi. Hi, everybody. I'm Coco. She's an angel. I would love to hear from other businesses what their answers are because I think there's so much growth in your ups and downs and your learning, in things that I'm like, ooh, I thought that was the way, but now we did it this way and that was better. And, growth along the process. So here we go. I'm going to jump in with number 1. I said I would hire a CFO from the early days. So just I think Johnny's been with us 2 years now, and he's a friend of ours from church, and it's really such a blessing how he came into his role at Fount. I had been praying for help, or Philip and I were, started the business as artists. We love making things, and we were creative as far as like the product, but then also like with the branding and how to, style the photo shoots and market it and all of that. That's what we loved. We did not love the finance end of things. And it had been, about 7 years of Philip and I just, not really knowing how to calculate risk was the biggest thing, and just like make sure we knew how much like money we had to put towards every part of the business, like how much money could we spend on materials and inventory and overhead and just even rent and all of those different things, like what could we afford and what couldn't we. And so I'd been praying for a while that we would find a CFO so that Philip didn't have to fill as much of that role, and I honestly wasn't doing much of that role at all, but I knew it was just something he didn't enjoy in his job. So when we met our friend Johnny, that was just the most amazing thing, that we could take that hat off. And when I say we, I mean mostly Philip, could take that hat off and give it to someone who loves wearing it. So we have a mentor, and he says that. He says, you wear every hat until you could take it off and give it to someone who wears it better than you. So currently, our good friend Johnny, he's become like a brother to us because we work together now all the time. But he's just doing so great. And I say that when I speak at events, I always say like having a CFO on our team has been like bowling with bumpers up. So we don't always get strikes, but we are not hitting gutters anymore because if you just do everything by the numbers and calculate it out, then you know what you can do and you can't do. So that's been a huge step forward for us. And just a confidence that we know how we should be spending our money to grow, to continue to grow. So I just have been really thankful for that at Fount. I wish we would have done that sooner, but the timing was what it was, and we're happy we're doing it now. Number 2, launch more styles each year. So this is something that our mentor, Michael Radin, he says that we, should launch as many styles as possible. I don't know if he exactly says that, but he wants us to continually keep launching more styles because he says it's one of the best forms of marketing. And he is so right. He is so right. Every time we launch a new product, we see a huge influx in sales on that new product, but then also on our existing styles. It just reminds people of your brand, and it reminds them that you're doing new things, you're doing fun things, and that they like you as a brand and they want to come back and like, oh yeah, that thing I've been thinking about, I'm going to get it now. Or maybe they love your new product. A lot of times our new launches take time for people to think about them and like conceptualize, like, what is that design? Do I need it? Is it the right size for me? But yeah, every time we launch a new product, it helps us so much. So we're trying to grow to the place that we can continue to launch even more. We went from like literally having like 3 or 4 different SKUs. Well, they're not SKUs, but 3 or 4 different styles with multiple colors. And now we're launching, I don't know, like 6 to 10 new styles a year. And it's so fun. It makes our job fun. It makes the design process fun. The design team's having more fun. It's work, obviously, but it is exciting to launch new products and to continue to bring new and exciting things to our customers. So I can't recommend that enough. Launch more products. Number 3, listen to the customers for their product requests and advice. So going along with what I was just talking about, launching more things. Our customers are constantly giving us feedback on things that they want, designs that they need. They need a new briefcase. They need more pouches. They want more crossbody options, or they wish this had a pocket, or this is a little too big, or this one's a little too small. And that feedback that they're giving us is so valuable because it helps us launch our new product. So if one person says, oh, I need a giant bucket bag, that's one thing. I don't think that that's a huge request we get, right? But if 30 people tell us, oh, I really wish this had a phone pocket on the back, then that's something we have to change in our design process and make that change for the customers. And guess what? Every time we listen to the customers, they show up and they purchase the products for us, and it's really cool. We actually started doing this in our closing reports at the stores. The girls and guys will type up what they heard from the customers. Like if customers say, hey, I wish this had a wristlet on it, they're typing that. And then Lindsay on our team, who's the head of the design team, bless you, that was my husband. Lindsay on our team, who's the head of design, will look at that feedback regularly, and we'll discuss it and see what we can do to keep the customers happy and, do those things that they're telling us they want, because guess who is buying our stuff? The customers. So the more you listen to your customers, they will tell you what you want, and even seek that out, like seek out their requests. So I want to actually start having like a comments box at the store, like comment cards where you can drop them in, because I think everything has moved away from that. People are on Yelp, people are on like Google reviews, on those platforms, and you're not getting all that juicy feedback that would be on a comment card. So we actually have them designed. I don't know if we still have them printed, but I want to put those at the store where people can say, hey, I had a great experience. One tip, like encourage them to give you those juicy things where you can improve, because it's some people are forward with their opinions and some people keep their opinions to themselves. But the more you can get your customers' opinions, the better your business is going to do. So that's another tip. I wish I would have started listening to the customer feedback sooner. And that's one thing, like at the beginning of Fount, I remember the first bag Philip and I ever designed was this giant tote. It was the Grand Belfield tote. So we knew we had a great design. I love that bag. I love the Grand. I use the Grand often. However, all of our customers, at the Cleveland Flea, or at different shows, would be like, oh, I love this bag. It's just too big for me. If you made it a little smaller, I'd buy it. And I would just really have to swallow my pride and be like, okay, thanks, yeah. But then the more I started listening to them when they say they wanted it smaller, so we made it like 4 or 5 inches shorter, and they sold like gangbusters, and that design is still our number one seller to this day. So thank God that our customers told us what we needed to do. And then they said it again. They're like, hey, I would love this with the crossbody. I really need a smaller version of this, So then we came out with the Belfield crossbody. And then like even with the tote, they're like, oh, I love this tote, but I don't carry a laptop every day. So I just need it a little smaller. So we've got the Grand, the Plentiful now, the Classic and the Petite and the crossbody all in the same collection. And it keeps all of our customers happy. So listen to your customers. I can't recommend that enough. All right, next, Oh, working with partner manufacturers. This is a tip that we got from so many people right off the beginning. And, Philip and I were making everything in our apartment when we first started. And then we slowly had to hire people to help us because we couldn't keep up. And then, it came to a point where the orders were really hard to keep up with, and we were constantly sold out of different styles, and customers were frustrated. There were really long wait lines for things, and it just wasn't a great customer experience for people. They were, frustrated that the thing that they wanted was always sold out, and we're always like, well, this is available, and they're like, wait, but I don't want that. So, when we started working with partner manufacturers, now we can have our product readily available, and the jobs are really amazing jobs in areas where people need them, right? So we worked with a fair trade consultant, and she set us up with partner manufacturers, and it really has helped us grow. But then it also has created jobs at our studio that people love, like more creative jobs, beyond just the production, but where we have, graphic design jobs, and, a big customer service department. We've got photography and social media and marketing and design team and all of these different things. So it is, exciting that we now are doing partner manufacturing, and I wish I would have had ears to hear the advice that people had given me before. And we're just blessed that now we've got these two really great partner manufacturers that we really love working with. Okay, next. Go for the 4-day studio work week. It is interesting. We did some research and found that companies are just as productive with a 4-day work week, in like a work setting, like sitting at a desk all day, hammering stuff out can be tedious, right? And so we switched to the 4-day work week, and it has been really great for our team. We get a long weekend every weekend. Philip and I, and and Johnny, we end up still working a lot on those Fridays or Saturday or Sunday, because that's just the nature of it when you're at, the helm of a business, right? But it has helped a lot for us to have a little bit more free time to get normal things done, like laundry and errands and doctor appointments and things like that. So I do recommend the 4-day work week. It's been great, and our team loves it. It's a great perk. All right, next, forget being self-conscious and just be the face of the brand from the beginning. So I was very self-conscious about being the face of the brand not when we first started. When we first started it, I was totally okay with it. Because it was just Philip and I doing it, and I just was really comfortable with it, because I was like, this is our little project we're doing. Here we go. And then somewhere along the line, maybe somebody said something, I don't remember, but I became self-conscious and felt like I was taking too much credit for the brand, and obviously, there's this team that makes the thing go. It's not one person making it go, but there does have to be someone putting the messages out to the customers. So for a long time, I, hired models and did their makeup and did their hair, and, got their wardrobe booked and had to book locations, and we would make this beautiful content, and our customers and our followers on Instagram and Facebook and whatnot didn't really engage with it that much, because they didn't recognize the people. It wasn't connecting for them. And a lot of people said, why are you not just giving those messages or showing the bags to the customers? And I just, it was just hard for me to open myself up to do that. But when I did, my job got so much easier. I didn't have to book models. I didn't have to do hair, because I was constantly, my whole job, I won't say my whole job, but a lot of my job before was booking photo shoots and things. And it was expensive. It was so expensive for the company to book all of those. And so a lot of our budget had to go to that. Now, we have a studio with a photography studio in the studio. And it's so easy when we have an announcement to make about a new product or whatever. We can literally just bop over in the corner of the studio, turn on the lights, Philip shoots it, and it's so easy. And I can just communicate the messages to our customers that we need to communicate. And I think what's really cool with Instagram now is that people don't want everything to be perfect the way they did 5 years ago or 10 years ago. It was before, everything was so curated and beautiful. And then I think something happened in the last few years where people are like, we just want something real. We just want like something without so much fuss. And that has been really cool to just embrace that. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not a model. I'm not probably the best person to be showing off the bag, but I am the most convenient because I am there. And I am also very invested in it because we are the owners of the company. And I'm also a face that people recognize and remember if they follow Fount, because we've been doing it the whole time and it's our business. So if you are struggling with putting yourself out there on social media, it does get easier. I was really uncomfortable with it before, and now that I'm doing it more, look, now I'm doing a podcast and it's really fun. It's really fun. So just also don't get so caught up in what people think, right? You're going to have negative feedback or just crickets sometimes, and that's okay. Like, it's okay if there's not like huge engagement on everything. That is okay. So, yes, that's something I would have done earlier on in the business. Okay. Oh, this is something really great. So, I would be unoffendable. I don't know what number I'm on, but I would be unoffendable and don't take criticism personally. So, I heard a few years ago, there was this guy on Focus on the Family, and it's a podcast. And he was talking about his book, and it was about being unoffendable. And that really struck a chord for me because again, with that self-consciousness, I think sometimes I was like offended, like, oh no, did I hurt her feelings, or like taking things too personally. And the more you can let things roll off, like say we have a customer who comes in and they're a little grumpy, if you can just put it in your brain that everyone's doing their best. That's this philosophy I learned about in Brene Brown's book. If you can get in your mind that everyone's doing their best, and it just kind of frees you up to move on with your day and not let it stick to you. Just let it bounce off and let it be that person might be having a bad day. Who knows what they're going through? Maybe they have a family member in the hospital. Maybe they're having a rough week at work. Maybe their errands are not going well. They had to get 6 or 7 things done and everything's going wrong and they can't get it all done, or whatever. Who knows what it is? But the less you let things offend you, the easier you can roll through your day and just be a blessing to other people because you're full of joy. But the more you get offended, the more prickly you get, right? So it's something I've been working on, just letting things roll off and like not taking it personally, because life's too short to taking it personally, and just trying to put my best foot forward for the people I need to put it forward for, right? Because there's a lot of them. It's like you've got your work community, like your coworkers, and then you've got your customers, and then I've got my family, and it's like, and your kids, and like it's hard to show up and be on for everybody. So I think the more you can let stuff roll off in your personal life and your work life, the better off you'll be, right? So, okay, highly recommend that. Get advice from other entrepreneurs, mentors, and find a mentor right away. So this number, I highly recommend getting a mentor. The way I found my mentor, I'm going to share in a podcast in the future, but I'd been praying to find a mentor for a while. And when we found our mentor, he is just so wise in the area of fashion. He was the CEO of PacSun, Sperry, and Justice, and he is just brilliant in the area of fashion. And it's interesting, things that will just joggle in my brain and I'm wrestling with. I'll wake up at 3 a.m. worrying about something or thinking about it and trying to problem solve it. And then we talked to our mentor and he's like, oh, just do this. And it's like so easy for him to like give advice because he's done it for so long. So try to find a mentor in your field. I highly recommend that they're like have experience in your field. So if you are in the restaurant business, find someone like that's in the restaurant business that you admire and they did great. And our mentor is retired, so he's fabulous and just very generous with his time. We meet quarterly. For just 2 hours quarterly. So it's not like a huge commitment for him. But he does ask that we come prepared, and he just gives us great advice and then gives us goals. And we walk away with like a new fire in our step, ready for our next quarter. And it like gives me fuel to keep going to like reach the next level. So I highly recommend a mentor. Okay. Next, I would hire a team of people who certainly like their job and love being part of the team that you're hiring them for, like for your business. And I just want to say that attitude is everything. So I really, especially in the stores, I look for very outgoing and bubbly and people oriented personalities, because if you're in customer service and you're going to be working with all kinds of people coming in your door. Some people are really friendly, some people are shy, some people are reserved, some people just want to get in and get out, some people want to have like tons of hands-on experience and really understand the design process and how the bags are. So you're going to have all different kinds of people. And when we're hiring for our stores, I'm really looking for people who know how to read the room and people who know how to work with people. So that's a tip for us, like in customer service, because so many people are forward facing in the brand and working with customers. If you're questioning if someone's a people person in their interview, then they are not meant to be in a forward-facing position in the brand. They would be great maybe in a different position in the brand that's not working directly with people every day. But I think that is super important if you're hiring someone who's working with people, like in a service kind of role. But then also for your team, maybe at home office, finding people who are just dedicated to the brand. They show up and they're friendly to their coworkers, no chip on their shoulder, happy to be there, because the more you can make a community in your workplace where people love to be there, then the happier everyone is there, right? It's that whole thing, like a bad apple ruins the bunch. And if there's someone who's there that doesn't want to be there, that starts rubbing off on your other team members. So I really just recommend, they say, our mentor says this phrase, hire slow and fire fast. It's sort of, I take that with a grain of salt, but it's sort of that idea that like really interview and look for red flags in the interviews and really try to get the person in the role that you want. And I certainly take personality into account. Yes, you're looking at skills, but I'm also looking, is this person a fit for our team? Are they going to get along well with our team and really like bring up the brand and bring up the vibe and bring up like the culture? Are they going to jive well with everybody? And just really be a team player. So I recommend that a lot. So those are a couple of my things that I wish I had been doing from day one. That I think that had I been doing those from day one in the brand, that I think would be on the fast track and growing more quickly. But I think there are lessons I had to learn on my own, right? And so everyone's going to learn those lessons. But if you have a business or you have something that you're starting, please take these tips into consideration, because I've learned them the hard way, going through it for 10 years. And so I hope they can bless you as you grow your own business. So if you liked this episode, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be bringing more business tips in the weeks to come. Also, follow me on Instagram. I am Fount Jackie, and I've got a website if you're interested in checking it out. So I'm so happy to chat with you tonight, and I hope that you have a great week, and stay tuned for more business tips. Bye.